Hey family, welcome again to another edition of the Digital Plantation Podcast. Wow, it's been a minute since I've done one of these, but yeah, new year, we're going to start pounding away at these podcasts on this platform while we still have access to it, to this plantation. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful day. As for me, I am just coming back from the East Coast. Did a bit of traveling out there, and now I am back home in the studio and going to be pounding away here, with some a lot of stuff, man. So you better be ready, because I tell you, I am fired up. I'm fired up, especially after going to this the African American Museum in Washington, D.C. Now, I've been there before. And in fact, this is probably my third time going there, and I really, really enjoyed. I think they did a wonderful job in terms of presentation, and I just think they did it just really good. Now, we can look at it with a critical eye and see, okay, the facts are when you first walk in, you see Bill and Melinda Gates' name up there. And then you have, all the other corporate interests that invested in it. We can also take into account that the fact that if you really think that you're going to get all of our history, just unadulterated history, that they're not leaving anything out, and it's going to be presented by the United States government. I mean, literally across the street from the White House. If you really think they're going to give you all the information, then yes, you are sorely, just not informed at all. You know what I'm saying? So, obviously that's just very clear there. However, I think as a people, we are so powerful and so unique and so beautiful, just the information that, even the information that they do allow, to be in that museum, it's very, very powerful. And I would encourage anybody to go there and to definitely check it out. They start off from, going back as far as Congo, when the Portuguese came down and, connected with the Kingdom of Congo. And then they moved on the rest of West Africa and all of that, and how the relationship went from, learning about the culture to enslaving the people and all of that stuff. So it's very thorough. And then they move on. They don't leave you there, but they continue on and start talking about all the other stuff, too, that we contributed to, the world at large, music, arts. They had a special exhibition that I've never seen before, and it was on Afrofuturism. And man, that was really something, because I liked how they started at the beginning, going thousands and thousands of years throughout the continent of Africa, how these people actually were quite familiar with stars and star patterns and galaxies and all this other stuff. And, and so they covered all of that. I thought they did, again, it was a wonderful job. And I would encourage anybody to go see it. So, yeah, so we did that and had some time with family and all of that. And I actually, there's a funny reason why I'm doing this podcast, because what we're going to be talking about today, I was actually I had a video. I actually recorded it twice, because the first time I recorded it didn't look too good. I'm working with a different camera and it did not look too good. So I said, let me film it again. So I did another 20-minute take of it, and I'm right in the middle of editing it. And I said, this just ain't going to do it. I mean, it was very grainy. It was warped looking. It was just, it was not, I just did not feel right in even making that public. So I think what's going to happen is I'll probably pull from that and use it for B-roll or something like that, and some future project or something. But there was just nothing I could do with it. And, my daughter walked in and she said, why don't you just do a podcast? I said, you know what? I haven't done one in a while. So I went and I looked at that thumbnail that I used in the past, when I first set up Digital Plantation Podcast. And I didn't like it then and still didn't like it. I said, let me just kind of redo it right quick. And that's what I did. So renewed it. And we're going to be doing more podcasts, as the year rolls on. And so hopefully you'll join us. I may even consider putting it on like iTunes and maybe some of the other platforms as well. So I'll think about that and see what I'm going to do with that. Okay. But anyway, so glad that you guys can join us. And thank you so much for clicking in and really appreciate it. We're going to get right down to it. What we're going to talk about for a little bit today is an idea that I had recently. And this idea was to perhaps in the very, very near future to start a book club. I would actually say it's more of a book/research club. Maybe that's kind of what it is. I'm not. I'll just say book club for now, but book/research club. And I'm going to tell you why in a moment. I'll explain it. I don't have all the details or the start times and all that stuff. I don't have any of that right now, but it's not going to take long to put that together. But I definitely want it to be something well thought out. And I want it to be very clear so people know. Okay. No, we're not going to be reading novels and all this other stuff, romance novels. We're not doing any of that. Okay. But if you've been following the platform, we want to stay in alignment with, the topics that we have been discussing on the platform. So that's why I said it ain't going to just be any books. And I'll get into it in a moment. But first, let me just say this. I think what prompted me to do this is because of the fact that I have just grown extremely tired, to say the least, of the amount of people that I've been encountering who just simply will not read. And I'm talking about our people. Many of our people have allowed this system to program them to only think in short terms. In other words, if it's in a TikTok video, if it's in an Instagram video, then I can munch on that. But don't give me something any longer than 60 seconds. Don't give me something any longer than 120 seconds, because anything longer than that, I simply don't have the time to even pay attention. And so I encounter people who oftentimes want to be heard, but they don't want to listen, and so, again, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of years that our people have been lied to. So if you're serious, if you're someone that's very serious about unlearning the lies, then I hate to break it to you, but it's going to take longer than 60 seconds for that to happen. You understand? And so I've been encountering people who it almost seems as if, and I know they're repeating memes. Yes, they're repeating memes, literally word for word. And they just, beyond that, once you start giving them the actual facts in its full context, then all of a sudden they just don't want to hear that for some reason. They begin to quickly lose interest. So that, and like I said, again, we've tried to do our part to really address this. One of the things we've done is we actually created an online library where we've had over 100 books, free of charge. We're not charging because we didn't write them, and they're accessible to anybody that they can go to. They can access those books. And so anything that we talk about, if we're pulling from any of those sources, you as a listener can go to those books and you can actually read in full context what we may be referring to, so that you can measure it out in totality, as opposed to just these little clips. And I pointed out oftentimes, one of the things you'll find this common habit, amongst these online teachers, is that they will just show you just enough of the references that they point to, just enough to support their presupposition, or what they're putting out there. their narrative. But when you read this stuff in its entirety, or the stuff that they're referring to, more often than not, you'll find that there's a lot more to the story than what they are leading you to see, and so and sadly, majority of people who are listening won't even bother take the time to actually say, you know what, I know this individual referred to this book. Let me read the book myself, or let me read that chapter myself, so that I can get the full content of it, right? And so that's why it's so very important, so we try to do our part, but man, I tell you, it's a very frustrating battle, because a lot of people just won't even bother. And it's amazing, because I'll get people who will write a whole dissertation in our comments, but when I respond to them and ask them a question and just response, I'm not being debative. I'm not mad. I'm not angry or anything like that. I'm just asking them, okay, well, did you listen to the whole video? It's always, I would say 99% of the time, it's crickets. So it's, and it's sad, because we can do a cartoon. I don't know if y'all remember the Boondocks. They had an episode where it was like Martin Luther King, what if he didn't die? And he went into the black church, and they were having some kind of rally or something like that. And then he gave the I Have a Dream speech, but it was a remix version. And and it was one line in his remix version where he said, he said he was talking about black people always want to be heard, but never want to listen. And it's sad, because we can put the truth in comedy, but when we say it forthright, people get mad, they get offended. And so we're not really a big comedy channel here, even though we love to laugh. We just like telling the truth. If it comes to comedy, so be it. But everything can't be in comedy, So anyway, so another way that we want to combat this is to create some type of forum that will allow people that give people the opportunity to go through an entire book, ask questions, to actually study it. And, if there's any opportunity, even invite the author to come in, and we can, sit down and chat with the author, have the author, kind of talk about some of the things that we may have had with the book or whatever, or his research or her research. And, and just kind of just start taking this whole thing of studying or investigating serious. I can't tell you how many times I've come across people who say, I've done the research, but they, what is your research? And more often than not, the research is looking at a TikTok video. And that may seem funny, and it may give, some of you a chuckle, but I'm very serious. I'm talking adults, grown people in 2023 who are still intimidated and afraid to pick up a book and actually read it. But we will spend hours upon hours upon hours arguing people down about, I'm walking in the truth, and, and all of this. But what is truth? How do you define truth? How do you quantify truth? These are real things that we need to take seriously and ask ourselves, instead of just using it as some kind of throwaway term that we just, I'm in the truth. I'm in the truth. What truth are you talking about? How do you quantify it? How do you measure it? Is this something that's readily available? We did and I have a video coming up where we talk about this more. But I did a post recently about the second president of Egypt, and it was a quote that's attributed to him that if you actually take the time and investigate it yourself, you'll see that he never made that quote at all. But so many people have repeated this quote over and over and over again as if it was truth. And so I confronted that whole thing and basically said this: if you have to use a lie to support a truth, then that means the whole thing is not true. And so You have people who lost their minds on that, but it's true. It's true. And so in this video that I have coming up, we'll get more to that. Okay, so let's get more into the details of what would be expected, or what you should expect if we did something like this. If we did what you call it, a book / research club. I tell you what, let's take a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to actually get into that. Okay. So anyway, you are listening to the Digital Plantation right here on YouTube. I'll see you in a minute.
Nikki Cola, girl, I have got to tell you, I got my package the other day, and I had ordered the soursop drink. After watching you guys talk about it so much, so I decided to go ahead and order it, and oh my gosh, it is so delicious. I had to tell you. I was really surprised. It was so good. It is the bomb, girl. It is the bomb. I just wanted to let you know, my darling. So when we run dry, I will be getting me some more. But thank you. You guys are the bomb. Talk to you later.
And that's on sambatree.com. That's over on sambatree.com. If you haven't gone over there by now, and I'm sure by now most of you guys have checked out sambatree.com, but there's still plenty of, we got a whole world of people who still don't know about sambatree.com, where you'll find not just that very delicious soursop drink. We stay stacked in this house. I mean, I'm talking about just for our house. And but man, 100%. There's no additives, there's no fillers, there's none of that. They literally take the soursop fruit, squeeze it, put it in a can, and then ship it. How about that? And they don't put anything else in it. But that's just the beginning. We don't just have soursop drink. We got all kinds of different herbs. We have all kinds of different teas. We have different powders. We have all bitters. We got a ton of stuff, things for your body and all of that. And so I would highly encourage you to check out our website, sambatree.com. It's a mission for us. It's a store, but it's really a mission. And our mission is to pull out as many of our people as possible out of these demonic hospitals. I'm very serious. And so one of the ways we can do that is through education and also by providing some good, very good options that have already been proven to be effective. And most importantly, we're not trying to overprice folks and trying to become billionaires at this. I mean, of course, that would be nice, but we really want to make it affordable for as many people as possible. So check it out again. The website is sambatree.com. All right, we're going to go ahead and get on back and continue our conversation on this whole book club thing. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So what am I seeing about this as far as this book club is concerned? Okay, so first of all, what platform would I have it on? I'm kind of thinking it will be right here on YouTube. Now, YouTube actually has it's an option or a section, if you will, where it's kind of, think of Patreon, right? And what it is that you as an individual will have access to videos, live videos or pre-recorded or whatever. These will probably be live, where you can log in. You'll have access to it. You can log in and you'll be able to see, any videos that, that we may have on this particular book. Okay. And then, but it's not just a one-way street. That's the thing. It's not going to be just a one-way street. Way it may start off is maybe I will introduce the book, as the first. I'm talking about the first book. The book will be introduced. I'll give an overview of the book, right? And then after I give the overview, and then I'll say, okay, because I'm seeing probably right now, this will be a one time a month kind of gathering where we're physically coming together. Right. Let's see. So once a month, you'll have like a month or so to, you can go through the book. And then what I'm trying to figure out right now is an effective way where we can communicate during that month. In other words, like I think I may have a solution as I'm talking to you right now, but what I would love to do is to have some type of platform where we can talk and have discussion about a particular book. And if anybody has any questions, or maybe you have any notes or things like that, or links to articles that you would like to share, then you can, we'll be able to do that. And then the YouTube portion will be where we can come together, and we'll be able to discuss it, with each other. And also, so that would be that. And then also, at times, if I'm able to, I would love to be able to reach out to some of these authors, if I'm able to contact them and say, hey, listen, we have a book club or book research club. Let's talk about it. Let's, we would like to hear from you and appreciate your time and all of that. Right. So it's the reading part, but also what my goal is to do my part to teach people how to research. And, what are some of the things to look for, when you're picking up a book? One of the things I look for if I'm diving into history are footnotes, something that has a good section of like a bibliography or footnotes, things like that are very clear and all of that. And the thing that I really like about that is that it gives us as the reader the opportunity to dive even deeper and, go beyond just the excerpt that this writer has put together, and we can read the whole thing. One of the things I liked about how the Nation of Islam, they put something together. It was, you may have the books. It's The Secret History Between Blacks and Jews. I think that's what it's called. They have like several books in the series. And I have it, and we've made that, so I ain't gonna say no more about that, but in the library, I'll just put it that way. But they have a ton, a ton of footnotes. And I have bought so many books because once you start going down that trail of going through those footnotes, going through the bibliography, man, it's just a never ending trail because you start acquiring different books on that and all of that. It's taken me so long just to get through that series because I've been buying books based off of the notes and stuff like that because it's just stretched my mind even more. So we'll look into that. We'll talk about that and why that is so important, because I want to push our people past building belief systems or, whatever it is that you may have, not just on memes or not just on what someone else said in a YouTube video, but based on your own research. And so that's the kind of thing I want to instill in whoever would like to, to join with us on this thing that we're talking about doing, So that's something, to look forward to. Another thing that I would like to do is for, anybody that participates, any book that we talk about and discuss, these will be books that I will make available, for free, via PDF. if I have the PDF, I will make that available for every member. Okay. If I have it, I'll make it available. Okay. And so you'll have the PDF version. Now, if you want to buy the hard copy, like a lot of people prefer to do that. I know I do sometimes. Then you on your own on that. But if you want the PDF version, if I have it, I will make it available for everybody to download. And and these will be things that we can go through together and all that. I personally like the PDF version because I can highlight things and all of that. And I can copy and paste stuff and, all kinds of stuff. So that's why I like the digital version. But, the paperback, I like having that as well. So I'll leave that up to you, but the PDF version, I will do my best to make that available for everybody. And I've already mentioned, I'll do my part to see if we can, as it's going forward, maybe we can get some of the authors to come in and discuss their research and things like that, so that we're getting the full matter. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you're an individual that has an issue with listening to people who are not your color, then this is not for you. This is about getting to the truth. And it's not just black people who are committed to the truth. You got people from all walks of life who are very committed to truth. And so that's what, that is what we're going to be pulling from. So again, if you're a person that's got an issue with that, then this is not the group for you, because we're not going to, we're not going to play games. We're not going to waste any time with that. Now, what are some of the books? What type of books would we have in this type of group? Since we on this platform, we really have been taking a much closer look at the Bible and looking at the history behind the Bible. I mean, the true history behind the Bible. I would say for the most part, many of the books that we will be talking about and discussing will be books that really dive into that topic in much deeper levels. And these are books that, are written by people who have spent years in research and searching the matter out, and have a ton of information that is just sitting there waiting for us to kind of comb through on our own, so that we can kind of go through it and then, make up our own minds based off of the facts, And so one of the things, I did a short recently, and it's basically the title of it, it's Faith Isn't Factual. One of the things that religion has done to us is trained us that faith is factual. Faith is a good thing. It's a wonderful thing. I think it's something that all humans need to have. You know what I'm saying? Because faith is basically a belief. Like it's something where I believe it enables you to set goals for yourself. It enables you to become a better version of yourself. Faith is a wonderful thing to have, and so, but it's a belief at the end of the day. I believe that one day I'm going to be a very good cook in the kitchen. Okay. I believe that. Okay. I believe that I am going to, really spend more time on a regular basis in the gym. Okay. I believe that I'm going to read at least 10 books a year. I don't know. You can go on. I mean, you can name all the different things that you may believe in or have faith that you'll do it. Okay. So faith is a wonderful thing to have. Okay. But it doesn't make it factual. Just because I may have the faith to be a good cook, or to be a good football player, or be a good musician or what have you, it doesn't automatically mean that I am that. Do you understand? And so I noticed that people, they just didn't know what to do with that at first when I said faith isn't factual, because it isn't, because religion has taught us that faith is factual. And so as we are going through, as we're discussing these books and going through research and things like that, we're going to see that we're in search of the truth. We're testing our faith. We're testing what we have claimed to believe by looking at the facts. You understand? And so that's what we're going to be. That's really the goal of this, this book/research club. Like I said, again, I don't have a start date right now, but it is something that I would, I would like to start in the very near future. And I'll let you know. You just continue to tune in here on this platform. Would there be a charge? I think so. I think there would be. The purpose of the charge would not be for anybody to get super rich. The purpose of the charge would be to cover some of the basic things that we would need in order to make this thing what we want it to be. And it would be very, very minimum. I mean, extremely minimum, and so I'll fill you in on that. and I'll start exploring. Let's see, some of the tools that we would need to really make this thing effective and really make it to be something that, is valuable for the people. And it really pushes us to be the researchers and the investigators that we're supposed to be. Because as I've always said, this is when you're a child, you're born as an investigator. Children are always very curious, always learning new things. They, how children, they'll put stuff in their mouth and they're like, okay, that don't taste good, so there must not be food. Or they'll touch this, or they'll, do that or whatever. Because children are always, that's how you grow. That's how your brain grows, is by constantly testing your environment, testing the information as it comes your way. And somehow, as we get a certain age, we have trained ourselves never to do that. And religion is something that has taught us to never do that. Last thing, the Bible, says, study to show yourself approved unto God. Okay. Now, in the religious sense, we have heard that scripture and we've immediately interpreted as meaning study the Bible to show yourself approved. It doesn't say study the Bible. It just simply says study to show yourself approved unto God. Study is a large word. So you just don't study the Bible. There's many other things that you should study. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's many other things. The Bible also says what? It says that out of the mouth of 2 to 3 witnesses, let every word be established. Does it not say that? Well, why can't we use that same standard when it comes to actually looking at the Bible and the history behind it? Why not find 2 to 3 other witnesses to see what they are saying as well? So this is what we're going to be doing. We're not going to just be talking, running our mouth. We're really going to be investigating. That's really what the drive and the goal is going to be on this. And I want to give it, we'll have time where, many of you can participate either with your voice, audible voice, or like in some type of chat or forum. And we want to keep it very focused. And that's it. And then once we finish with that one book, we'll just move on to the next one. Okay. So I'll be letting you guys know as time goes on. Like I said, again, it's something I would like to get started in the very, very near future. So stay tuned. Okay. On that. And I hope you enjoy. I hope you if you're interested, I hope to see you there. And we'll be talking again soon on that. Okay. Well, family, again, thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of the Digital Plantation. Because like I said, again, the internet is one big plantation. It really is. Family, you guys take care, and I'll see you again soon.